Hello, everybody. Welcome to our winter training live chat. I'm Yael. Hopefully you know that already. I'm actually here right now doing a little work with some members of our Techne team. We got Russell here and Molly, and we're all sipping some tea and talking about training and Techne. So the plan for this live talk, thanks guys for all of you who are signing in to join us. Ooh, my phone's falling over. The plan here is I have a couple things I want to share with you about training during the winter, a couple tips and ideas, and then we have some questions that some of you have sent in previously, which we'll get to first, and then from there we're going to go to any questions that you want to send in. Molly's going to be monitoring the questions being sent in and sharing them with me. So send in your questions. We want to talk about anything you want to know about the Techne app, the training system itself, or just training in general, especially throughout the winter. So a few ideas from me, and these ideas actually come a little bit from some of the conversations I've been having with Russell and Molly over the past couple days. Have to do with training through the winter. And for those of you in sunny places in the country where it's beautiful weather all year, some of you may not be able to relate to some of the struggles for those of us who don't live in those sunny places like New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, places where it's snowy and miserable for parts of the year. So 3 tips for you for your winter training, especially if you live in one of the places where you actually have wintry weather. One is find your training spots. So I always love racquetball courts. I think those are awesome places to train, whether it's a parking garage, a gym you can go to, anywhere where you know you're going to have a warm space to train when the weather is miserable, or a sheltered place to train, maybe if it's your garage, your basement, somewhere where it makes it easier to go train because you know you're going to be safe from the elements, so to speak. So that's tip 1. Tip 2 is get creative. So kind of to piggyback off of that, get creative with those training spots. Like I said, I've done training in a parking garage. Sometimes it takes shoveling off a 10 by 10 area in your driveway when it snowed, or going in a parking lot under one floodlight. You know, these are all things I've done. Setting up your car's headlights to train, you know, if it's dark out somewhere. So when it comes to that, if you're on vacation or you're somewhere new or the weather's bad, sometimes it takes creativity. And actually, some of the most fun memories I have growing up and playing, and still now with my family and close friends and teammates, are the ones where I got really creative and ended up training somewhere totally weird and different. So I encourage you guys to get creative with your training spaces, and also snap photos of them and share them with us, tag us. We love to share where everyone doing Techne trains. Last but not least, from me, before I get to your questions, this was a conversation I had with Russell the other day because, and by the way, here's Russell again. We were talking about, you know, his training. He's been doing a lot of gym training, and we were talking about, especially in the winter, sometimes you wake up and you have all these excuses running through your head of reasons why you might not want to train that day. Oh, the weather's bad, I'm a little tired, I'm sore, I'd rather eat a warm breakfast, whatever it is. We all have excuses. So I guess my advice to you is have those excuses, that's fine, but choose not to listen to them or not to use them. And one method that we had discussed that has been working well for Russell that I really got on board with and I like is give yourself 1 minute to think of all the excuses you can think of why you might not train that day. Literally, even just say them out loud to yourself. Like, I'm sore, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, I could hang out with my friend, I have a video game to play, I could train tomorrow. Anything you can think of, and then say them all and go train anyway. So that's our advice to you for your winter training. And now we're going to get to your questions. So first, we have Kai Soccer. Do you guys plan to create an offline setting in Techne for when you don't have Wi-Fi or cellular data? So the answer is yes, but it might take us a while. So I work with Russell pretty much every day, and we have a long list of things that we're constantly working on to make your training experience using the Techne app even better and more fun, and that's on our list. But we have some other priorities first. So definitely be on the lookout eventually for an offline training setting, but it might take us a bit to get there. But also, we're really open to you guys' feedback, and we love questions like that, and we love the feedback you send in through the form in the app. So continue sending questions and feedback about the app our way. Aaron Crossley asks, best way to lose the fear of re-injury when first getting back into training? So a lot of athletes and soccer players deal with injury at some point in their career, probably almost all athletes. And actually Molly is in the process of rehabbing from an ACL injury, as have, I'm sure, some of you. I've had some injuries myself, knock on wood, nothing too serious, but I've been dealing with some illness I'm coming back from. So I think the biggest thing is to regain your confidence and to, one, not push yourself to do too much before you feel ready physically, but then at the point when you are ready physically, it does take kind of breaking through some of those barriers mentally. And everyone's a little bit different and everyone faces those barriers at different times, but at some point when you know your body can handle the work or handle playing and the contact, you have to kind of just go for it. And sometimes it's that first tackle, that first strike of the ball, that first time cutting and changing directions, and you're really nervous. But you got to get through that first time to realize, I'm really okay. I can keep going with this. So I would encourage you to, one, not push too fast if you're coming back from an injury. There's a lot of technical work, mental work, watching the game, studying the game, tactical work that you can do to still improve as a player before being out there and playing, full contact. But then when you know your body is fully ready, it takes that little bit of a leap of faith to kind of push yourself past your comfort zone that first time. And then I think you'll feel comfortable to do it again and again. So there's no right way to do it. It's definitely a battle, but stick with it and have that faith in your body that it will recover fully and you'll be back. Next, Sylv Sean. Is there an area that shows how you might spend half an hour or 1 hour session most effectively with the app? For example, do 3 from each area, etc. So for those of you who are just getting familiar with the Techne app or who haven't yet downloaded it, which I recommend you do if you haven't yet, we have a 1-week free trial, so you can just try it out, see what you think. We offer each week a juggling section, a dribbling section, and a wall work section. So the question here from Sylv Sean is kind of like, how do you know how to most effectively spend your time with all those drills that are offered each week? And really, the way that we've worked to set up the training for you is so that it can be flexible, so that you can do 10 minutes if you show up before training early and you want to do 10 minutes of juggling. Or maybe you're in a racquetball court and you do the wall work and you spend 30, 45 minutes just on wall work. Or maybe you have the time to go through the entire session one day. So really, I would say there's no right way to do it. It really depends on you, how much time you have, what other obligations that you have with your team. So the intention with the Techne training is that it's plenty of content for you to spend a full week working on your own just with the ball, doing the session every day, tracking your improvement, working on the time trial drills. But at the same time, if you have minimal time, you can just do a little bit each day. Honestly, 10 minutes each day is enough to significantly improve your technique over time. So I'd say it's more about the consistency of your training than how much you're doing when it comes down to it. Okay, now we have Gracie71. How can I play and defend older and faster players? So, one thing I recommend to you as a player is that you spend some time in a situation where you're outside of your comfort zone. Whether that's playing with players who are better than you, if you're a female, maybe playing with male players, or playing with older or faster players like Gracie asked about here. And I've done this many times throughout my career as a player, and it's sometimes very scary, and you have to be okay with failing. One of the keys when you're playing with players that are a little bit above your level are, one, to play and think quickly. So that means taking fewer touches. You need to release the ball quickly, and you need to think quickly. So if you can't run as fast as someone, well, can you anticipate where they're going and get there first? I recently became a defender as a professional player late in my career, and I play against players who are significantly faster than me, if I'm going to be honest, in the NWSL. And something that I've learned to do is to read the game. So I try to anticipate and be proactive and think, okay, they look like they're running here. They're probably going to receive the ball here. Can I leave a split second early to give myself that advantage? So by playing with players who are a little bit better, quicker, faster than you, basically you're going to challenge other areas of your game, up here mostly, to see if you can keep up. So it's about playing and thinking quickly. And those are things that anyone can do, no matter how old you are, no matter what your physical makeup is. You can always think the game quickly, and you can play quickly with the ball. How quickly can you process the ball when it comes to you and send it off again to the next place? And that's part of what Techne helps you to perfect, the efficiency and quality of your technique. Now we have, by the way, guys, keep sending in questions, because I see on the list here we have a couple more that were sent in before, and then we have one from my mom, which is very nice. But I would like you guys also to ask questions. Thanks, Mom, for joining in. But it would be nice to get some questions from players as well. So next we have Gray Dive 13. When are you going to add goalie training? So for those of you who have not seen, we have Techne GK, Techne Goalkeeper, now available. You can find the link to sign up on our website, or there's a little toggle in the app that you can sign up to be part of Techne GK. And the person leading that is Nicole Barnhart, who is a longtime pro player, friend and teammate of mine, and also just has a couple accolades to her name, like 3 Olympic gold medals, no big deal. So very legit goalkeeper, one of the best to ever play on the women's side. And she, right now, if you sign up for Techne GK, she is sending out emails to that list. So basically right now it's just a mailing list, and she will share with you through those emails some ideas on how you can use the current Techne sessions as a goalkeeper and kind of tweak them to make them a little bit more goalkeeper specific. Because as she acknowledges, it's still very important for goalkeepers to be improving their foot skills and to become comfortable on the ball doing all the things that field players can do, especially in the modern game, the way that goalkeepers are being asked to play. So she sends out emails about how to use the current Techne sessions if you're a goalkeeper, and then also with specific advice for goalkeepers about the mental part of the game, goalkeeping technique, some of her favorite goalkeepers of all time. So I encourage you to sign up for that list. And as part of that, we are working together. So I'm working with Nicole Barnhart, also called Barney, to actually come up with and film all the training content that will eventually be added into the app for goalkeepers. So sooner rather than later, we will be introducing actual goalkeeper training in the app. But for now, if you join Techne GK, you'll receive emails and you'll be one of the first to know when the actual goalkeeper training is available. So again, guys, send in your questions. Couple more. We have from Anna Meister 7. What does it take to be a professional athlete? Well, that's a little bit of a complicated question, because it takes a lot of things to become a professional athlete. But I would say if I were to boil it down to one thing, it would be this. A lot of soccer players, we'll say in particular, say they want to be professionals. And it's great to say that and to have that goal. But to really embody that dream and actually attempt to be a professional, it takes an incredible amount of work to perfect your craft. And that's why we've created Techne Football. So for those of you out there who say you want to be a professional soccer player, what are you doing every single day that is more or different than every other player in your age group around the country, around the world, that says they want to be a professional, right? Because there are probably literally hundreds of thousands of players in your same spot, sitting on their couch, doing whatever they're doing, watching this live chat, that say they want to be a professional player. At each level of the game, whether it's from youth to high school, from high school to college, from college to pro, then from pro to the national team, at each level, the pyramid gets smaller and smaller, right? So from youth soccer, only a few players go on to play in college, at the best colleges. And from college soccer, even fewer go on to play professional. And from professional soccer, only the very, very best make it to represent their country on the national team. So if you want to be one of the few that moves up that pyramid, you need to do something more or different than everyone else who has that same goal. So I would say it's to be a professional athlete or professional soccer player, it's not only about having the dream and the vision, but also executing on that vision every single day. Finding the resources, finding the experts, and putting in the work to warrant one day being a professional player. And that's what all of us who are professionals have done. You know, myself, Molly, who's here, you know, we have had the dream as a kid to be a professional soccer player, and we put in the work day after day, year after year to accomplish that dream. So it takes a ton of hard work and persevering through any obstacles that come your way. Never stop. Continue on. If you have the dream to be a professional player, don't let anything get in your way. Okay, Soccer Skills 59. Will the Techne shirt you're wearing be for sale? So you guys notice this, which is actually an exclusive sweatshirt. I think I've only made like 3 of them, and my dad has one. I don't even know who else. So that's a really good question. If you did not see the announcement, we now have a Techne store that's available on our website and in the app. For everyone who has the Techne app, you can access the Techne store right in the app. And what our plan is, we're introducing some really fun things through the Techne store. Right now, you can go in and anyone can buy some of our gear. You can buy actually the shirt I'm wearing under this, which is the shirt that a lot of you guys are repping. So definitely if you don't have one, go buy one in the Techne store. If you sign up for an individual annual subscription, you get one of those for free, along with some other cool gear, our wireless headphones and our Techne training socks. But yeah, in the app now, when you're training, you can purchase that gear, and also when you get to each new sock level and you're training in the app, that gear becomes available for you to claim, either for free if your subscription includes it, or you can purchase your socks as you get to the next level if you're on a subscription that does not include the gear. In addition to that, we do plan to introduce some really fun products along the way, including some sweatshirts, maybe not exactly like this, but similar. We were talking about some tank tops for the summer, eventually some phone cases, all kinds of fun gear that you guys can rock and that will help you as you do your training. So a couple important things. Very soon for the holidays, for those of you listening, you're getting a sneak peek on what's to come. For the holidays, we're going to introduce something where if you refer a friend to sign up for the app and they, after their 1-week trial, subscribe, you're going to get $10 credit towards the Techne store, and so will your friend. So we're going to have maybe some beanies in there potentially, some Techne tennis balls, all kinds of fun gear. So definitely be on the lookout for that opportunity to refer some friends and get some credit to our store. But yeah, we're definitely going to have some fun gear coming your way, including something similar to this sweatshirt, now that you asked. GMA Verb, who happens to be my mom, asked, can you explain how to use Techne Best in winter that also helps conditioning and fitness, which is harder to maintain in winter? Good question, Mom. She must have seen me training using Techne. We were actually in the racquetball court together the other day as I was filming some content, and she saw me gasping for air and drenched in sweat. So she knows that I often get the question about, what do you do for cardio? So in my opinion, the best cardio that you can do as a soccer player is ball work. If you go out with your ball and you are doing 1 to 3 minutes of repetition against the wall with dribbling footwork patterns, even with some of the juggling, and you're doing it really intensely and maxing out your effort, it is exhausting. There is no better cardio that you can get as a soccer player than going with your ball, putting on some music, using the Techne app, and doing the dribbling section, for example. I also think playing small-sided games is an excellent way to get cardio. If you're talking about soccer-specific fitness, that's another thing, and it's good to do some repeated running, sprints, agility work. There are things for sure to do to supplement the technique area of the game and really improve the physical aspect. But especially in the winter, all you need is literally a 3x3 area, and you can do some footwork patterns and challenge your foot speed and get in an amazing fitness session as well. So think about that as you're training. There's no need to go out on the roads and go for a long run, get on a treadmill or a stationary bike. Get your ball, get the Techne app, put on some headphones, and get to work. I guarantee you, if you're not drenched in sweat and gasping for air, please send me a video of you training, and I'll make sure to correct what you're doing because you're doing something wrong. Okay, Troy Girls Soccer. Hi, thanks for tuning in. If you had the Techne Football app when you were a kid, how would it have changed you as a player today? Well, to be very honest, I literally created the Techne app to be exactly what I would have wanted as a youth player. So I wish I would have had it. I basically made up, as I went along, all the types of training sessions that you see in the Techne app. So I would see a pro coach from somewhere work with a player and do a footwork pattern. I would write it down for myself on a little notebook, and I would go out to the field and try it. I would rent VHS tapes with my dad or order them from soccer catalogs and write down the different drills and work on them all the time. So the one thing that I think is really cool about what the Techne app offers, besides the actual soccer content to give you a blueprint for your training, is the connection to other players all around the country and all around the world who really care about the same thing you care about. So for me as a youth player to be able to do the training I was doing and look on a leaderboard and compete with someone from Hawaii, from Washington State, from Florida, from Canada, Japan, New Zealand, China, all these places, I think would have been really cool. I would have been going crazy for it. So I think there's that extra competitive element and the community that we form with Techne Football, and I'm so thankful for everyone who's part of that community. So absolutely, Techne is what I made that mimics what I did as a kid and what I still do today as a professional player, but it also helps you compete and form that community within that training. Basically, it's like a training group through the app, so you can be connected to all the amazing players around the country and world who are passionate about developing their skills. You know you're doing the same training as them. Although you're doing it on your own, you're also connected through the weekly session. So I am going to sign off pretty soon unless we get a couple more questions in here. Molly's been doing a great job fielding questions for me, so I got my little crew here. But again, for those of you who are joining in a little late, I encourage you to go back. We're going to post this video on our Instagram story for you to watch later. So if you missed the beginning, it will be available for the next 24 hours. I think that winter is a time when you can really set yourself apart as a player. It's so easy during the winter to make excuses why not to train. Believe me, we've all thought of those excuses. But like I said in the beginning, think of the excuses, acknowledge them, but don't use them. So get creative about it, find places to train, and it's fine to have excuses, just train anyway. Cool, well, I think it's been almost 25 minutes here. I think we're gonna, I see one more question here I'm gonna answer. Last one before I sign off for the night. Soccer Skills 59 said, I've been using the Techne app for a while, but now my shooting form has fallen a little behind. How do I know if my form is right? So, one thing that I'm going to offer all of you guys watching this live video, because you have joined me tonight, and if you see this video at any time, you're going to get access to this secret information. If any of you would like personal advice on your technique, whether it's a Techne drill that's in the app or something like shooting that's not offered in the app right now, my personal email is Yael, Y-A-E-L, @technefootball.com. I hope you guys all know how to spell Techne Football because you are on our Instagram page. So Yael @technefootball.com. Send me a note on there. Include a little video of you striking the ball if it's your striking technique you're curious about, if it's you doing a drill in the app and you're curious if you're doing it right. All of you will have access to email me a video of yourself and I will give you personal feedback on that. So that's an extra perk you get for tuning into this. Once this video is gone, 24 hours from now, no one else will know about it. So take advantage if you want, and I'm happy to provide that feedback. Eventually, by the way, we're going to have something in the app where you can upload a video and have a pro player or coach critique your technique and send you some feedback. So thank you all for tuning in. I've had my tea here and I haven't even drank any of it yet, so I'm going to get back to drinking my tea and working with the Techne team who are here with me to continue to give you guys the training resource that you want. So again, download the app if you haven't. Try our 1-week free trial. If you're already using the app, interact with us. Let us know what you love about it, what you want to see for the future, any issues you come across. We're really responsive to that. We want to build the resource that you want to use. So everybody have a wonderful holiday season. We'll obviously be very active on Instagram, and hopefully we'll do another one of these Q&As sometime. If you liked it, let us know, and we'll be back at a later date. So I'm going to let you say goodbye to Molly and Russell, who are over here chilling. Russell moved to the floor to look on with Molly. Oh, there we go. We got Molly in the picture. Cool. Take care, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.